4 Zircon and Onyx missiles, as well as 24 Iskanders, were launched by the Russians in an attack tonight, and almost everything was aimed at the capital and the Kyiv region. In addition to the ballistic missiles, they attacked Ukraine with 115 enemy drones, 98 of which were destroyed by the Air Force. The ballistic missiles, as well as 17 drones, caused damage at 26 locations. At 6 other locations, down debris fell. The Russian attack is still ongoing. There's several enemy UAVs in the airspace. Therefore, if possible, don't leave shelters until the all-clear signal. Not a single military facility. Tonight, the Russians attacked only civilian infrastructure, logistics centers of Ukrainian companies, enterprises, and shops. In the capital, as of this morning, there is 1 fatality and 16 wounded. The night was also horrific in the Kyiv region. There are 14 dead and 27 injured. Not a single one of the nearly 36 ballistic missiles launched by the Russians was shot down due to a lack of interception capabilities. More on the consequences of the shelling in the following report by Maria Vasilyeva.
Another night under Russian missiles against which there's no defense. A Nova Pochta sorting center in Kyiv has been destroyed. The Russians use missiles with cluster munitions. As a result, 3 people died here alone, and 8 more were wounded. The logistics center itself has been destroyed. The epicenter chain's logistics complex on the left bank of the capital burned to the ground. Another epicenter complex was destroyed in Kalinivka near Kyiv. A company employee died there, and 3 more were wounded. In addition to the warehouses, the missile strike caused significant damage to an epicenter tile production facility. On the right bank of the capital, warehouses of the Novus grocery retail chain were destroyed. There were even more strikes in the Kyiv region than in the city. The Brovary district suffered the most, said Victoria Rubin, spokesperson for the State Emergency Service of the Kyiv region.
Cleanup operations are ongoing in the Brovary and Bucha districts. Still, the Brovary district was under the heaviest enemy attack today. Here, rescuers worked at 4 locations. At the moment, all fires have been contained and liquidation is ongoing. There were also hits in the Bucha and Fastiv districts. At the moment, the fire in the Fastiv district has already been extinguished, and in the Bucha district, liquidation is still ongoing.
In the Brovary district, the largest warehouse of the Rozheka company was destroyed. But the most terrible thing happened at the railway platform of the Kvitneva station. There are 8 dead here, passengers who are waiting for a train next to the logistics center, which was hit by Russian missiles, reported the head of the Brovary district, Vitaly Bigun.
It was delayed a little. The train was delayed, and people didn't make it to their last train. Currently, it is known about 8. 8 dead. 8 dead. We also have about 5 of the most heavily impacted locations where logistics companies were damaged, such as Fozzy Food, meaning food products. The enemy continues to strike civilian infrastructure. Many residential buildings were damaged.
Meanwhile, a video appeared online showing the simultaneous launch of 6 ballistic Iskanders from the Bryansk region, not far from the Ukrainian border last night. President Zelensky reported a total of 17 dead in the capital region from the Russian attack. Another 44 people in Kyiv and the region were wounded, all because, Zelensky laments, there is no defense against ballistic missiles. This is the price of delays in the supply of interceptor missiles from partners. Maria Vasilyeva, TSN 1+1.
During the attack, an ammonia leak occurred in the Holosivsky district, reports the Kyiv City Military Administration. A system containing nearly 300 liters of the substance was damaged. There is no threat to people, the KCMA emphasized. At the same time, due to the large-scale fires that have engulfed Kyiv in the region, air quality has critically deteriorated. There's a high level of pollution in all districts of the capital and in the suburbs. This is evidenced by the interactive map SAFE. Air quality indices in many parts of the city have reached orange and red danger levels, with the worst situation in the north and west of Kyiv. In the Obolansky and Sviatoshinsky districts, the index reaches from 140 to 174 units, with the norm being up to 50. There is also a high level of pollution in the Darnitsky, Dniprovsky, and Solomyansky districts of the city. Outside, there is a noticeable smell of burning in the air. Clouds of smoke are visible over the capital. People are urged not to open windows, to drink plenty of water, to do wet cleaning, and also to avoid being outside. There are already 27 wounded in Kramatorsk in the Donetsk region. The youngest victim is 18 years old, and the oldest is 76. The victims have blast injuries, limb amputations, and shrapnel wounds. The day before, the Russians dropped 2 aerial bombs on the city center, each weighing half a ton. One hit a high-rise building, the other landed right next to it. There is significant destruction in the city. 6 apartment buildings, 2 schools, a bank, a post office, a shop, and infrastructure were damaged. In Druzhkivka, enemy shelling claimed the lives of 3 civilians. A high-rise building was hit. 4 people were injured in Belenga. The number of people injured as a result of the strikes in Sumy has risen to 10. 4 more children and 2 women were brought to hospitals. They have minor injuries. The day before, I remind you, the Russians dropped 6 aerial bombs on the city. The attack claimed the lives of 2 sisters, aged 5 and 10. An elderly woman also died. At night, the enemy attacked Trostianets with 5 drones. 2 men were wounded. 1 of them is in serious condition. 2 people were injured in the Konotop communities. A drone crashed into a house there. Another person was injured in the Yambol community. 2 people were wounded in Zaporizhia and the surrounding area. The day before, during the day, the Russians struck one of the villages. A drone struck a house where a pensioner was. In the regional center, an infrastructure facility was attacked with an FPV drone, and in the evening, the occupiers struck a children's hospital with a Molnia drone. The building was damaged, but the children and medical staff survived because they were in a shelter. In the Dnipropetrovsk region, a railway was hit by the enemy. A fire broke out. A fire station was also damaged. Equipment was burned in there. 16 out of 25. In Russia, the 16th large Wildberries distribution warehouse has already burned to the ground. This time, Ukrainian measures to force Russia into peace took place in the village of Alexino. This is in the Tula region of the terrorist country. Peacekeeping drones visited the Wildberries warehouse late in the evening, so by morning, only charred structures remained of this facility. The Wildberries warehouse in Alexino is huge, almost 200,000 square meters. This logistics center was opened 4 years ago. It played a key role in the storage and distribution of goods. The warehouse provided delivery of goods to the Tula, Kaluga, Oriol, Bryansk, Kursk, Lipetsk, Ryazan, and other regions of central Russia, and also partially relieved the logistics centers of the Moscow region. And in the morning, Ukrainian drones attacked an oil refinery in Ufa again, for the second time in 2 days. A massive fire broke out there. Locals reacted with their usual emotions.
Well, we're fucked good, girls. Everything is completely black over there. It's really very strong.
The Minister of War berated journalists and denied the CNN report that the U.S. has run out of interceptor missiles. He emphasized that it was a fake and even added a screenshot of their broadcast. The journalists there were discussing that America had exhausted 80% of the critical components for producing interceptor missiles in the war with Iran. The head of the Pentagon also wrote that their hatred for media outlets that produce fakes is not enough. And it wasn't just CNN that spread such data the day before. In particular, Reuters, citing 3 sources, reported on the depletion of stockpiles of ATACMs and Tomahawk missiles. The sources for the Reuters agency did not specify exactly how many units remain in storage. They only emphasized that Washington considers these types of missiles critically important, both for operations in the Middle East and for a potential confrontation with China. Donald Trump, together with Israel, began the war with Iran in February. He hoped for a quick end to the conflict, but it, however, escalated into a prolonged confrontation. Currently, the White House and the Pentagon assured that the U.S. military has everything necessary to carry out its missions, and the defense industry is producing weapons at record speeds. Recently, the manufacturer of missiles for Patriot systems was awarded a $60 billion contract to double production. The U.S. and Iran are close to concluding another agreement on a temporary truce. As reported by Axios, citing sources, the new agreement provides for a 2-month temporary shipping regime in the Strait of Hormuz. Tehran and Washington will also resume negotiations on a nuclear deal, during which time there will be a period of calm in the region. During this time, they plan to clear the Strait of sea mines in order to expand shipping. Neither Iran nor the U.S. have publicly commented on the contents of the agreement. At the same time, Secretary of State Marco Rubio confirmed the day before that there is progress in the negotiations regarding free transit through the Strait of Hormuz. However, the final decision is still pending. They say it will be soon because at the very least, the Iranian side still needs to receive final approval from its Supreme Leader Mujtaba Khamenei and the Supreme National Security Council. But Trump has already confidently stated that the strait will be opened, or else America will launch the biggest strike on Iran since World War II. They came from France to fight for Ukraine. Today, French volunteers, as part of the Revenge Tactical Group of the Main Directorate of Intelligence of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, are carrying out the most complex operations in the Zaporizhzhia direction. They are working on the front line and behind enemy lines. Together with their brothers in arms, the Legionnaires took part in the clearing of Stepnohursk, and now they destroy the occupiers and their equipment every day. Our correspondent, Daria Nazarova, managed to visit their training sessions and learn more about the work of the Legionnaires.
They move stealthily through the tree line, quiet and invisible to the enemy. They understand each other without words. A gesture or a glance is enough. The Revenge Group of the Main Directorate of Intelligence is practicing these tactics. Here, instructions to the fighters are given in English as the Special Forces soldiers have arrived from France. They don't know Ukrainian yet.
In Ukraine, I see a lot of kindness, a lot of pleasant people. In France too, but it's different. I love my country, but right now I feel good here. I made this decision with my heart. I came to help and fight for the Ukrainians.
Ahead, the French face a 7-kilometer march through the hot Zaporizhzhia steppes. The distance must be covered safely and stealthily.
Fighting today isn't easy, but we have a lot of training and good equipment, and we train every day to be better than we were yesterday.
Such marches are primarily about strength and endurance, says the instructor with the call sign Viking.
Right now, in principle, all tasks are difficult, yes, because of the number of drones and the weather conditions. And here, again, in winter, it's super cold, -20. In summer, it's really hot. Yeah, there's not enough water. It's very hot in these suits.
Roshu 22. I've been in the war in Ukraine since 2024 because I'm convinced that the Russians are a threat to other European countries as well.
Most people come to Ukraine because they don't want the war to reach Europe. I want to stop the war. Ukraine just needs more people, and it'll win this war.
Roche fought in Donbass. Now he's defending the Zaporizhzhia region, and before that, he managed to serve in the French army.
The French army provided a good theoretical foundation and training, but in Ukraine, there's a real war where I can test what kind of soldier I am and hone my skills. They will be needed here.
Ahead lies the steppe, an unknown stretch of road that, according to intelligence, might be mined. The fighters launch a drone into the sky.
If we see a short route, we'll fly over it to understand and check out the road, because we don't know if there are mines on it.
The next task is shooting. First, they will work with the grenade launcher.
I will say, shot. Okay, I remove my safe. Shot. Boom. Shot.
And afterwards, coordination of actions and teamwork. They have to storm positions in pairs. One moves, the other provides cover. The Legionnaires handled the tasks well, the instructor assesses.
I will say that the guys did a great job. They tried really, really hard, worked with motivation, confidence, and with a desire to become better. And from this, I will say that even if they performed this right now, this training very well, there is always room to improve, so to speak.
These fighters are working love. I am very proud of my guys. However, we always need to train more to be ready for the next missions.
Ahead for the Revenge Tactical Group are new operations both along the contact line and behind enemy lines. Daria Nazarova, Andriy Hapovka, Zaporizhzhia, TSN 1+1.